you're thinking? I thought the same thing too. This, a Volkswagen SUV? How could that be? Sculpted body lines like something you'd find in an Audi. And a sloped rear like those fandangled SUV coupes. This is the 2020 Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport, and it's about to get lab tested, so keep on watching. So I basically have everything I need in here except for ventilated front seats, and these things, 10-way power adjusting. They do a lot more than just go back and forth. A little lumbar support. Why is this an option? But can we just take a minute and look at the size of this seat? I'm pretty confident this is gonna work for a lot of different derrieres. For sure. Now this steering wheel, between the new styling, the logo, this perforated feel, this is one nice wheel. Plus this flat bottom giving it a little personality. And up there, the digital cockpit. If you like to view a map, you can look at it small or it will take up the whole display. I mean, that is pretty nice. You don't have to take your eyes too much off the road. You can just stick your head in here. And this guy right here, 8-inch color touch screen display. You don't have to get to know a scroll knob or a touchpad. And this is extremely responsive. Plus, when you go to vehicle settings, you can easily see your assistance systems and kind of modify things the way you want them. Front assist, lane keep assist, blind spot monitor, dynamic road sign display. But once you kind of get everything set up to your liking, you're pretty much just going to use Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It's got both and it connects super fast. And if you look close enough, guess what's down there? A wireless charger. And to go along with the wide theme, check out this. Hello! You can fit a purse, a wallet, a loaf of bread, a big water bottle. You also have a little compartment over here. Overall, very nice and clean. Even the plastic isn't boring. It's got a great little pattern. VW was thinking about the driver when they designed this thing. This is definitely more of a me car rather than a we.
You know, this group is less about family and it's more about my car. A little more selfishness, if you will. The car's about me. The other car is much more about we.
This is good, but it's not great for Andie. Yes, the rear is wide and flat, a lot of space for a dog, but it lacks rear climate controls. You can't change the temp back here, dual zone, and no vents on the side pillars. So when the weather's hot, this is gonna be a challenge with a dog. And even if I tried to close off all the vents up front to power more air back here, center vents don't close. So I'm left with blasting the AC, freezing my tuchus off up front in hopes that Andie gets enough air back here. That is a big miss. It's also pretty high, so most dogs are gonna need help entering and exiting. No privacy shades back here, so your dog's gonna have to squint or wear doggy sunglasses. 60-40 back seat results in poor visibility for your pup to see forward. And if you're the type that likes to keep an eye on your dog when you're driving, well, that means you're gonna have to pop down one of these, resulting in less passenger space. And the sloped roofline, although aesthetically very pleasing, it does mean less headspace for your pup. So if you have a tall dog, that might be a problem. So the CEO of Volkswagen, he wasn't wrong. This wasn't created for we, this was created for me. And if that was their goal, check, they achieved it. But it's not all that bad if you thought this had a negative tone, because here's the reality. Andie, let's show them what we found. Because look down here, there is a 3-prong outlet. Oh yeah, that's right, and we sure know how to put that to good use. Right, Andie? And when I'm loading Andie in, I don't have to worry about hot tailpipes because they're pointed downward. They're not gonna hit her little legs. Oh yes, the space back here is impressive. And when you plop these seats down, there is something so unique. Normally, I'm looking to see if it's on an incline or fully flat. This is below flat. Have you ever seen such a thing? But let's say you don't have a dog and you don't really care about all that doggy stuff. Well, look at the size of this second row seat. Stretch! And all that leg room. And the door bins are pretty cool too. Look at that little compartment up top. Ain't that cute? And in here, you got monster mats. Man, these things are durable. Muddy Buddy floor mat by WeatherTech. Your dog can pretty much do anything on this mat and it's not gonna matter. It even has a lip on the side to help contain the dog hair from skirting underneath. And barely any carpet. You hear that? This thing is gonna be so easy to spray, wipe, and clean. And despite the presence of the sloped roof, Andie's somewhat of a low rider, so it hasn't really been an issue. Plus, the pano moonroof brings in a ton of natural light, so it doesn't feel claustrophobic back here. And truthfully, with a few modifications, I think this could be one of the best 5-passenger SUVs for a pet. Just give me a 40-20-40 split and some rear climate controls and some extra vents. Oh yeah, Andie wants that airflow. Personally, I can't wait to see the 2021 Atlas with captain's chairs. I think that is gonna check off every box we're looking for. Now with that said, why don't we take this thing on the road? Because this Cross Sport happens to be the fastest Volkswagen I've ever driven. So the Cross Sport is available with two powertrains. You can get a 235 horsepower, 4-cylinder, turbocharged 2-liter engine, or this 276 horsepower VR6. Now both are mated with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Also both available with 4-motion all-wheel drive like this one. And even though the 2-liter is slightly weaker than the VR6, it's probably gonna feel a little bit more dynamic and punchier given the turbocharger. So when it comes to pets, I think this VR6 is the way to go. It's all around smoother, plus you get the enhanced towing capability, so you can tow up to 5,000 pounds. So if you like to go on family trips and tote along a trailer, kayak, canoe, strap your bikes onto the back, you can do that in here. And if you really want to free up some space, why not get a VW roof box or the Urban Loader? That thing is so cool looking. It expands as you fill it, and I bet it takes up way less real estate than a roof box, although I do like the sleekness of a roof box instead. Overall, it's just a comfortable, solid ride, plus Andie back there looking real good, right girl? And the pano moonroof, which you saw earlier, I gotta point out the shade and the actual opening of the window are two separate buttons, two controls, which is so helpful because I can't tell you the amount of times I thought I closed the moonroof, but I didn't. Or you go to open it and the shade goes open, the moonroof doesn't, or vice versa. It just makes it much easier. Now, if you're used to driving a bigger SUV, you'll probably feel very comfortable here. This definitely has a higher stance. The hood is big. Visibility looks like this. There is a small section blocked in the back, but it's not too bad. But I really like the extra space. And when you start to compare this to the competition, Ford Edge, Chevy Blazer, Jeep Grand Cherokee, Nissan Murano, Honda Passport, well, this to me wins on looks all day long. And the safety tech, I mentioned it already. It's loaded, it's got everything you want, very engaged. But these cameras, there's no dedicated camera button. And check this out. This is what it looks like when you're backing up, pulling forward. No 360 view, which is a little bit of a bummer. However, self-park feature does work well, so you can always use that if you're feeling a little nervous. You can also access your car remotely, and Volkswagen has something called Family Guardian Alert. So if your teenager takes your car out and you're not quite sure if you can trust them, you can keep dibs on them, set boundaries, speed limits, curfews, even if you go out to dinner and valet check this sucker. You can keep tabs on whether or not they took this out for a joyride, which I don't blame them if they want to. And considering everything you get with this SEL R line, I personally think it's priced really well. And when you start to look at other 5-seater SUVs, they're often priced higher than their 3-row counterpart. So for example, Honda, the Passport, 5-passenger, more expensive than the Pilot, 3-row. BMW, the X6, more expensive than the X5 with a 3rd row. Audi, Volkswagen sibling manufacturer, the Q8, more expensive than the Q7, has 3 rows. But not in here. This Volkswagen, the Cross Sport, is priced lower than the Atlas with 3 rows. And that to me makes a lot of sense. That's how it should be. Anyway, if you are in the market for a big 5-seater SUV, definitely check this out. I think you will be impressed. Big thanks to Volkswagen for letting us lab test this 2020 Atlas Cross Sport. Now, even though it may not be Andie approved, there are still a ton of dog-friendly features and will probably be a good fit for most dogs. Andie just happens to overheat very easily and requires a lot of airflow, especially in the summer months. Now with that said, don't forget, subscribe to our channel, click the bell so you know when our next video goes live, and follow Andie on Instagram to see pics of this Cross Sport all week. And we'll see you next time. Bye!